Hey, good afternoon, good morning. John Marshall, Suncoast NPI. We're back, and we're getting into our second segment today. And the feedback, again, we're having with Suncoast NPI TV is off the hook. So if you're not leaning in, you're crazy. This is all about Sam. This is Sam's time to shine, and I'm so delighted you're here, Sam. But going back to Suncoast NPI, right? We're a seat-specific organization, so somebody that's rock stars at what they do, and that's what you and your business brings to the table. So we appreciate you being a member, Sam. And then somebody that has a servant's heart and it's giving back. And I've already heard stories with you on hightailing it up to Tallahassee to help out a referral partner. And so that shows a lot about your heart and your integrity and who you are. And so with that, let's take this all in, make it the Sam Show. So tell us a little bit about you. I know you a little bit, and you got viewers out here that are like, who's this guy Sam? I know he's a rock star. I know I've seen this guy around in a band or something. But who are you, Sam? Thanks for being here.
Absolutely, John, man. I'm so glad to be here. I'm glad to be a part of this, and I'm glad that I could help Carol out in Tallahassee there. And that's really why I started my company in the first place, was to be able to give back to those that have helped me in the past, and to be able to provide a good service to people not only in need, but a good quality product and a good quality work ethic to provide my customers with the best. But as far as me, I was born and raised right here. In Newport Richie.
Wow.
Yes, sir. I'm a native, man.
Wow.
I've been many other places, but I've always come back here. I love it here. It's my home. You see many crazy stories about Florida. Don't believe the hype. It's great. It's a great place to live, great place to grow up.
Yeah.
I spent my days on the water right here fishing, and that's my favorite pastime still to this day.
That's awesome.
Yeah. If I could quit life and just fish, it'd be okay with me.
I hear you. I hear you. Well, you're not there yet.
I'm not there yet. No.
Just yet.
I'd be honest with you, I don't know if I could ever really do that. I'm not that guy that can just stop doing anything.
Gotcha.
I mean, I own the company, and I'm still out there in the field every day. If you see my hands,
yeah, I see them.
They're cut up and bruised up from working. So
that's awesome, Sam. Hey, so just dive in a little bit about. I mean, there's a lot of companies out there that do what you do. So let's dive into what you do specifically. Tell us about your company.
My company is Second Opinion Cooling Service, as you can see in the background here, our logos. So I named it that because I worked for many big companies, and not that those companies were bad companies. They weren't. I don't. I'm sure you have some bad companies, but I don't see any company as necessarily as a bad thing. Maybe mismanaged or whatever.
Right.
But I don't think anyone goes into business and says, I'm going to provide bad service to somebody. It just doesn't happen. So it just somewhere along the line it ended up like that. So. I just wanted to start my company so that people basically had a second option. If someone went out and they were told, hey, this thing's ready for the graveyard, they could call and say, I really need a second opinion. Then they look on Google and they say, oh, here it is, Second Opinion Cooling. I'm calling these guys. So, I get a lot of calls from that.
I bet you do. It's a really cool name.
Yeah. So that was basically my thoughts on the matter, and I wanted to provide a good and honest service that was based upon integrity, and once again, good work ethic. I am in the field at all times, and I never want to be that guy that gets to where he's not out there. I at least want to be out introducing myself to my customers and speaking to them, and saying, hey, I'm the owner. We're glad to have your business. Thank you very much. And so. Basically, that was it. I just wanted to provide a second opinion for people who otherwise might not have known any different. Because the AC world is something that's pretty proprietary to that field. There's not a lot of other trades who know about the AC field. It's pretty specific.
Gotcha.
And even other tradesmen will call an AC guy to actually do the work, because you can go on HGTV and figure out how to patch your drywall. But I don't suggest messing with your AC or electrical for that matter.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. For sure.
Okay.
Yeah, that's cool. That's awesome. And so, hey, you're looking good. I'm just telling you, you're looking good today. When you're out in the field,
I clean up nice, right?
You clean up amazing, man. So you're not out in the field like that, right?
No.
Look at you. That's awesome. Tell TV, and this guy's like, boom, he's bringing his A game. I love it. And so this didn't happen overnight for you starting this thing. So how about how about telling us how you got there? How did you get to where you are today?
A lot of hard work, really hard work, a lot of long hours. I worked because I didn't start with a bunch of collateral or capital. I didn't start with a bunch of capital.
Okay.
I didn't start with a bunch of money. I actually grew up rather impoverished as a child. But my parents were both very hard workers, and they instilled that work ethic into me. So I didn't have any money to start with. So long hours and hard work is what got me to the point that I'm at. I worked for another company, and I would go out at night and run my own service and take care of my own customers as well.
Wow.
And sometimes be out till 12 or 1 in the morning until I was ready to get to that point to where I could jump ship and just go totally with my own company, you know.
Yeah, that's awesome. I appreciate you sharing that. And that kind of tees up the next question, really. And you already kind of explained some of it. What differentiates you and your company within the marketplace?
The biggest thing that differentiates me and my company are we are solely family owned and operated.
That's awesome.
I actually didn't intend that to be that way. I intended to solely take care of all the business myself. I actually didn't want to become very big, but we started getting so much business that I just couldn't handle it all myself.
Right.
So as time went on, some of my other family, my wife and my sister saw me struggling, and they are actually out in the field, which is another big difference we have. I have 2 women out in the field doing the manual labor, and they are busting their butts every day. I can't thank them and praise them enough. They are incredible. Absolutely have been nothing but a godsend, because not only do they work incredibly hard, but they treat the company as if it's their own. They treat those customers as if they're their own customers.
Right.
You know, I don't have disgruntled employees going out in the field and worried about whether they're going to do a good job or not. You know.
That's amazing.
That is awesome.
Yeah, and I've had the privilege of meeting your sister, and yeah, she's great. She's awesome. So thank you for sharing that, and that tells a lot about who you are, your company, and what you're all about. And yeah, I appreciate you sharing that. What do you think? What's something that you're really proud of? That you'd say you're almost most proud of?
Most proud of? Definitely my company and the growth that we've achieved. I didn't, you know, looking back 10 years ago, I was solely a working musician back then. I solely played music for a living, so I never, you know, actually it was about 15 years ago. I never back then would have looked into the future and said, I'm going to own an AC company or anything else for that matter. So I can honestly say I'm very proud of that, and I'm proud of the fact that I've become something that my father and my mother can be proud of, you know, as well. And I've been able to give back to anyone who has ever helped me in the past.
That's awesome. And again, that goes back to like the heart, right? And that's what we really look for all of our members, to have a servant's heart. And it's,
Yeah, and I just want to give a shout out to NPI. That's one thing that really made me want to be a part of NPI, was the fact that you guys give back to Habitat for Humanity and you do things for the community. That was a big plus for me. I really liked being able to do those things.
Very cool. Yeah, I appreciate sharing that. Yeah, we actually put a number. It was like 15,000 hours we put back in the community over the last 2 years now.
I can't wait to be involved in it. Really
very cool. And I can't wait to have you. So what about this? What would you say is the biggest risk you've ever taken, Sam?
Whew, that's a loaded question, John. I have been not scared of risk my entire life. So I once, when I was 12 years old, climbed all the way to the top of the electrical tower. And,
yikes.
I don't know what possessed me to do that, but I did. So I have had no shortage of risk in my life.
Wow.
But I would say definitely the biggest risk was jumping out on my own without having any capital or anything to, you know, that was I was really nervous about that. I was not being able to provide for my family and those around me, or not even being able to provide for myself. Not having the promise of a guaranteed income or anything. That was the biggest risk I have definitely ever taken.
Wow. I mean, that is huge. I mean, that's the story of an entrepreneur, right? Yeah. And jumping out there and doing that. You mentioned music. We might come back to that here in a minute, because I'm really intrigued with that. I'm intrigued with all of it, but I'd like to hear more about this. We have like a couple more minutes.
Sure.
So you want to talk about maybe what your most famous or inspirational quote may be?
Yes. I don't know the key to success, but I know the key to failure, trying to please everyone. And I say that quote with a grain of salt because I don't mean in a negative way. I do believe that you need to try to please, your customers and certain
Right.
people in your life.
Right.
But don't let it get to the point where you can't differentiate between things that are dragging you down and things that are helping you move forward,
Yeah.
And for a long time in my early years, I could not differentiate that difference, and I did let a lot of people drag me down. And
Wow.
I had to come to the point in life where I had the ability to make that determination of what was good for me and what wasn't. So if I could offer any piece of advice, that would be my biggest piece of advice.
Yeah, that's a big one. And I've got kids. I'm trying to play. A pastor says, "Show me your friends, I'll show you your future." And we always say, like, the difference between now and 5 years from now are the books you read and the people you associate with.
Absolutely, birds of a feather flock together. That's for sure.
Amen. And so we have a minute. Do you want to talk music at all, or you want to share a little bit more sound bites on your second opinion? Your
Sure.
call.
I'd
like to hear music. Let's
Absolutely,
hear it,
John.
man. Your dad owns a store.
Yeah, my father owns a guitar shop, Clay's Guitar Shop. It's in Tarpon Springs, Florida, and
Okay.
I've solely been a working musician for a good portion of my life, and I still play music in the community now. I just do it more for fun than anything now.
Right.
But it's one of my greatest enjoyments, and I love being on the stage. I play about 17 different instruments.
17. Wow.
But I'm mainly the lead guitar player for two fairly well-known bands around the area, and I love it. I really do. And it's actually, I would not be able to be sitting in front of this camera if it weren't for music, because it brought me to a point where I had no fear of speaking in front of people, and I just love it. I really do.
You rocked it. Great job. Suncoast NPI, that's Sam, Second Opinion Cooling.